Vitality is our ability to have spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical bliss. Some call it paradise. We call it a game.
Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your host, femininity coach, and author of The Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So we're talking again about how Black women play with Black men's lives. This is the Ryan Coogler edition. Now, recently, before I read this article, just to give you a little bit of a background, recently, Ryan Coogler, the director of Black Panther and Fruitvale Station and a number of other movies actually, was falsely accused and arrested for attempted robbery at a Bank of America in Atlanta, Georgia, where he was and still is because he's filming Black Panther 2. And he went into that branch of Bank of America in order to pull out $12,000 worth of money. Okay, so basically he went up to the teller. He had his withdrawal slip, and on the back of the slip he had written to her that he would like for her to be discreet because of the amount of money that he was pulling out of his account and which account that he wanted that money pulled from. So everything that she asked for, he provided: IDs, PIN numbers, the card, his Bank of America card, and all these sorts of things to prove that he indeed had an account with Bank of America that he was pulling money from. And instead of doing her job the way she was supposed to, the teller, which was a Black woman, decides to converse with the bank manager, another Black woman, and decides that he's attempting to rob the bank potentially. And therefore, they called the police. 4 police officers arrived at the scene, arrested Mr. Coogler, detained him and I believe 2 colleagues that he had with him at the time, and questioned him about his identity and things of that nature. He was very forthcoming with them about it. There's actually body cam footage, which I'm not going to show, and it's regrettably because I like to show it, but I always get a strike when I show news clippings, which is why I don't do it. But I am going to put it in the link to the description box so you all can see. I'm even reticent to play the audio of it. But I want you guys to watch it, and I want you to see the entire transaction, everything that transpired from when the police got there. So anyway, let me go ahead and read an article so you guys can get a little bit better idea what was going on. And then I'm going to be back with my perspective. So let me go ahead and share the screen, and here we go. Black Panther director Ryan Coogler condemns wrongful bank robbery suspicion. Black Panther director Ryan Coogler was detained by police in January after he was mistaken for a bank robber at Bank of America branch in Atlanta. 35-year-old tried to make a discreet withdrawal by handing the bank teller a note, but this was misinterpreted as an attempted robbery by the employee, Variety reports. 4 officers arrived at the scene and also detained 2 of the filmmaker's colleagues who were waiting outside the building in a car with its engine running. Coogler was handcuffed and taken out of the bank by 2 of the officers. After verifying Coogler's identity and his Bank of America account, the officers released him and his colleagues. Responding in a statement to this unfortunate event, Coogler said, "This situation should never have happened. However, Bank of America worked with me and addressed it to my satisfaction, and we have moved on." Bank of America spokesperson added, "We deeply regret that this incident occurred. It never should have happened, and we have apologized to Mr. Coogler." Coogler has been in Atlanta for the shoot of his latest project, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I'm not going to get into the rest of this article because the rest of it is just, about Chadwick. We're not talking about Chadwick Boseman right now. I love the brother, but we're not talking about that brother right now. Once you watch the body cam footage. It's gonna blow your mind how Black women play with Black men's lives like this, based off of her feelings and her emotions. It felt weird. Instead of doing her job, instead of actually doing her job. So the body cam footage, you actually hear the story from Mr. Coogler's point of view. Okay? Then you do see where they kind of have a clip of the teller. They were questioning the teller and the bank manager, both of which were Black women, both of which were, listen, she thought it was weird that he had handed her a note on the back of the withdrawal slip, not a random piece of paper with something scrawled on it. This was his withdrawal slip. Everybody knows what a withdrawal slip is at a bank. You put your information on the slip. You have to put your bank account number on the slip. You have to put the amount that you wish to withdraw on the slip. It is not unusual that when you are pulling a particular amount of money out of the bank, you write on a note on the back of the withdrawal slip that you would like the teller to be discreet, because I don't want to have somebody waiting on me because you done counted out stacks. Now I gotta watch and see. Didn't nobody see that? Yeah, we saw it. We heard the cash machine as you put the stacks in there and it counted it. You know it make that sound when it's counting out stacks. Everybody know that sound. So I don't want you sitting at the teller's desk. We can go to another part of the bank if that's what it calls for, a more private part of the bank. I'm willing to sit there in an office or in a, in an enclosed space, a more private place to do this, not a problem. But I just don't want you as the teller sitting there like you counting out $30 to me. Because I could have went to the ATM. I don't even want you sitting there like you counted out $200. Like you about to count out 12 stacks to me. Don't do me like that. They have me jacked up before I can get my foot out the door. I don't want people hearing my account number. I don't want them hearing my business. I don't want these people in my business. That should have been well understood. Every piece of identification she asked him for, he provided. He had his Bank of America card. She asked him to put his PIN number into, I guess, some type of into the computer, I guess, or whatever. He did that. He handed her a California state issued driver's license for his identification. That is valid. You don't need to have ID from all 50 states in order to do business at a national bank chain. When you go into one of their branches, that you have an account with them and you go to do business in your account. I don't need the state I'm in's driver's license or state ID. As long as my ID is state issued and it is valid, it is not expired, then I can utilize that as my identification all over the United States. She did not even bother to check the ID that he gave her against his face. Okay, we all know we're wearing masks in these places and blah, 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 blah. All she would have had to do, because I guarantee you, when you go through TSA in the airport, you can wear a mask. They want you to wear a mask. But when you go through TSA and they got to look at that ID and they look at you, they say, pull your mask down. It ain't but a few seconds. Pull your mask down because we trying to identify you. Do you match this ID that we got looking at here? Okay, yes, you pull your mask up, gone on about your business. Catch your flight. Same difference. If you're looking at the ID and you looking at this man in front of you, he has his mask on, he's not dressed balling. We're going to get to that. All you have to do is ask him, sir, could you please put your mask down just so I can I'm certain he would have done that. Okay, thank you so much. All he kept saying was read the back of the note. When they talked to her, and she was like, well, it just felt funny because he just kept trying to get me to read the note. So why didn't you do? So why didn't you do your job? And then you're going to say, well, and when I put in the amount, it flagged the transaction because it is a high risk transaction. Anything I think over 10K, the computer's gonna flag it. It's up to you to clear it because you know this is a legitimate transaction that's happening here. You may or may not need to ask for an additional form of identification or whatever the case may be, whatever the actual protocol may be. That is what you do. And I'm sticking to that point because it's unfathomable to me that this woman did not even do step one, which was try to verify the information and the person in front of you right here before you go to the manager. Then she goes to the manager. At the end of the body cam footage, towards the end, the manager is trying to explain to Mr. Coogler what her role in it. She throws the teller under the bus by saying, oh, well, she's pregnant, so she's an emotional high, and it just made her feel some type of way. And, you know, by the time I got involved, everything was already going. She couldn't have called the police without your okay, manager. So you gave the okay for the police to call. So you looked over the transaction. Did you even ask Mr. Coogler any questions before you called the police? No. So that's two black women, two sellouts, two mammies that thought, oh, a black man couldn't possibly have this amount of money. And it's because of all these narratives that black women have about black men. Several issues. He's obviously black. He's obviously asking for a larger sum of money. Few thoughts. Number one, he can't actually have this amount of money because not only is he a black man, relatively young. Mr. Coogler is nothing more, is 35 years old. So he's a young black man, okay? He's not dressed like a rich man. See, black people and particularly black women got this thing that they don't believe you got money unless you flossing and dripped out. That's that rapper stupid stuff. Real men who really have money do not move like they have it in terms of I'm always dripped out everywhere I go. Because I don't want everybody to know what I get, what I'm doing. I'm trying to move under the radar. Now, I might actually have on about $6,000 worth of stuff, but it's going to look downplayed. He had on a hoodie. He had on a little hat. He had on his jeans. You wouldn't have been able to pick him out of a lineup because even though Ryan Coogler is famous for Black Panther, he's a director. He's behind the camera. So he's not as recognizable as, say, Chadwick or Michael B. Jordan. He's always in front of the camera. They're obvious. So if you have never actually seen Ryan Coogler or whatever, you might miss him or not recognize who he is anyways. Especially with a mask on, you're not going to recognize all of that. Okay? You know how people don't pay attention. So because he wasn't dripped out, balling out, you know, a rolling, this or that. So now he couldn't have been rich. So therefore, the money he's asking about couldn't possibly belong to him. Them talking about somebody was outside with the car running, that's after the fact. The teller doesn't know that before they call the police. And I just find like it's a slick way to always blame black men for whatever is going on with them. Well, he shouldn't have came with a mask. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? With all the mask mandates, so a black man can't show up in a bank with a mask on? Are you kidding me? When black men have the highest rates of death because of C-19, Are you kidding me? Well, he did show up with a mask on. So everybody in the bank showed up with a mask on. The police officers showed up with a mask on. No excuse. And he was very cognizant of the fact that there was no excuse. In this situation, Ryan Coogler or not, Black Panther or not, he was a black man that had the police called on him. And his innocence meant nothing. His status meant nothing. His wealth meant nothing. Nothing in that situation. You never once heard him try to grandstand, well, do you know who I am? You never once heard him say that, because he's conscious that it doesn't matter to them who he is, because it didn't matter to them women in that bank who he was either. All that mattered was that he was a black man that, quote unquote, shouldn't have been there doing what he was doing. And that could have went sideways real quick had he not been completely cognizant of this fact. Completely put your hands behind his back. Okay. All right. Because they had already grabbed their sidearms. You understand me? When they were outside and he was talking to them, he wanted their badge numbers. And they was like, yeah, grab something to write. He said, I'm not grabbing anything. You give me something to write with. You do it. I'm not reaching and grab my hands nowhere. This was after he had talked to them and solidified and proved who he was. He knew he wasn't even safe then until they was completely gone and he was completely out of that situation. All of these narratives, black men are broke, they dusty, they always criminally minded. So he's a suspect, and them black women handle him how Zaddy handles him, how Zaddy handles black men. You're suspect already. Black women know for a fact that black men get deleted with impunity by them. That's why they call. She wouldn't have cared if they had came in guns blazing. Oh well, he shouldn't have been. And then it would have been blame the victim for not doing nothing, for coming in to get his money out of the bank. Another troublemaking black man. Two mammies conversed together about what to do with this troublesome Negro, and both of them came to the same conclusion. Call Zaddy on him. Call the Romans on him, because he got to be up to no good, because there ain't no way we gonna actually do our job and reconcile the account number, the identification, and all the information that we required to see was it a legitimate account and was he legitimately the owner of that account. We're not gonna do our job. We just gonna call. Then threw her under the bus. That's the sisterhood for you. Told y'all don't like each other. So to get the heat off of her real quick and the accountability off of her real quick, I'm talking about the manager, she threw the teller under the bus. Well, you know, she pregnant and, you know, she just had, you know, her emotional high. So due to her emotional highs, his life could have been forfeit. Now, had he been of another complexion, she'd have had him with a smile. She'd have done her job then. Red flag on the computer, no. She'd have done her job then. Zaddy had to ask for his money in a three-piece business suit. I don't care what Mr. Coogler had on. I am not going to engage in blaming him for some portion of it. He came in that bank and did business supposedly from what he thought like he had done it before. Because from what he explained, this is something he does normally. Her feelings was more important than his life, and a black man's life don't mean nothing when they come between Zaddy and his bed wenches being in cahoots. I don't care who you think you are. I don't care how high value you think you are. In this country, you a black man, you always gonna be that. You always gonna be that. Sound off in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, The Crimson Cure. And this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.
Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor, who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.